thanks for joining the second rapid fire debate today. My name's Nathan Keller. I'm a partner at True Altitude. We're a venture capital firm based out of London, Abu Dhabi, and Sydney. I'm joined here today by Rémy Malchirand, from the Executive Vice President of Sales for Exotec. Thanks for coming today.
Thank you. Thank you.
I believe we've got a video just to show. We just want to show what Exotec's about and give you a bit of a sight into their business.
There we go.
Let's see if we've got sound. Awesome. So it's great. Obviously, the video there tells a lot about your business. However, words can tell thousands.
Well, I think it's definitely. I mean, the video is kind of a self-explanatory to a certain degree of what we are all about. Okay, so we are a robotic company. So we deliver a robotic solution for the supply chain, for logistics, basically. Everything that you can see on that video is provided and delivered by Exotec. So we delivered a fully automated warehouse, basically, and the big component is what we call the SkyPod. The SkyPod system being the masterpiece in terms of rack and density. And we bring, the special thing about Exotec is that we bring that robots that moves in 3 dimensions. So basically, that climbs into the racks to go and pick up the totes and the right product and bringing to the operator for the picking process, so basically to prepare an order, whether it's a customer order, whether it's a store order, or for manufacturing, or basically any type of picking. And then we are also a kind of a fully an integrator. So we delivered fully automated solution, fully automated warehouse for our customer. So the thing that you've seen here is obviously the main products of Exotec, but we can also provide inbound solution, outbound solution in a fully automated warehouse. So still a pretty young company, but growing pretty fast.
Excellent. And I'm an old school logistics guy.
Okay.
I was 20 odd years, in traditional logistics, moving parcels and stuff, and was in 3PL, owned a 3PL in Australia. I guess one of the differences I see is I started to see automation starting to come in. Mm-hmm. But like the difference from automating your packaging to completely automating everything and bringing in obviously the robotics nature is a big change for a company. Yeah.
It is a big change, and I've been in the industry as long as you've been. Okay, so we are like old guys, for 25 years, and I think that what definitely Exotec is bringing is the mix of flexibility and performance, and the mix of scalability and performance compared to the traditional automation that we've seen over the past few years. By flexibility, I mean by that by nature, the robotic solution adapt to the needs of the customer. Mm-hmm. So, you don't have to build a forecast for the next 5 or 10 years to try to figure out what's going to be my throughput in 10 years from now, and then I need to adapt my machinery to make sure that I will be able to handle this type of volume in 5 or 10 years. Now, the idea with robotics is that we can definitely scale at the same speed at the customer by, adding robots obviously it's pretty simple.
Yeah.
You know, it's we are going down to up to robot rentals, okay, for like peak seasons. We do have customer, for instance, like for the Black Friday or some period of the year like this, that can pretty much double the fleet of their robots. Meaning that adding a robot is super simple. We basically ship the robot to the sites, and as soon as the robot gets connected to the Wi-Fi, it downloads the map of our installation of the SkyPod, and then it goes. It can receive the first orders and so on.
Yeah.
So that makes this solution super scalable. So if your business is growing like 10% per year or 5% per year or 20% per year, whatever, we scale year on year by just adding robots, or also by expanding the solution in terms of storage, and we can do that without disrupting any of the operation, because all the technology that you've seen on that video, obviously there is a big software component behind, but there is absolutely nothing into the racks and the totes. So the racks and the totes are totally passive. Meaning that there is no electrification, no power, no nothing. So you can run your current, SkyPod system, build some, extra components outside of it. When you're ready, you remove the fence and you expand the fence, and the robot can move into that, new area.
Amazing.
By fence, I mean because we cannot mix robots and people within the same area. If you see the robots moving at 4 meters per second. And if you see like 200 of those, robots climbing everywhere, you don't want to put anybody in the middle.
Yeah, that'd hurt, definitely. So obviously we've just come out of obviously a really weird period for everyone. A lot of companies, with COVID, couldn't get people into their warehouse. They had limited. They had to reduce the space between people. Obviously, you would have had customers that maybe just came on board just before pandemic. Did they see the marked difference? Obviously, they would have been shutting down warehouses. You kept them open, yeah?
Of course. In fact, we are a 7-year-old company, so pretty new. We got something like 50 customers already. So we've seen pre-pandemic and during pandemic. The reality is that in our business, pretty much like everybody in e-commerce, it's been an accelerator. It's all the trends were already there, but we've seen some pretty significant acceleration due to the pandemic. Exactly. I think that if you had a manual operation, you probably shut it down or worked at the maximum of your capacity, which was probably not great. Obviously, if you operate with the robots, it's much easier to operate. Now, it's obviously it's not entirely robots. An Exotec facility. It's a mix of people and robots. But obviously, with the current labor shortages that we've seen, I was in a presentation just a few minutes ago, and we were talking about labor shortages and so on. I travel around Europe and around the world, and I think that I haven't met a customer recently who's not talking about labor shortages and the constraint they got with regard to increasing the number of people and finding the right people for their operation and so on.
Can't work from home doing this, can you?
It's a bit tougher.
You got to show up.
It's a bit tougher, to ship the product from working from home. It's no, doesn't really work. So that's why this type of solution. Together with the labor shortages and the performance that we get out of it as well. Okay, it's and the flexibility. That's basically the foundation of our success.
And like, how involved do you get? Like you mentioned, you're obviously traveling around talking to people about their operation. Like, how in depth would you get into forecasting with them? Obviously, you've got to be able to set up the right size facility, but someone who has seasonal flows, in terms, for 3 months of the year, they're expanding considerably. Yep. Is that something that you're working on? And sort of what's the forecasting looking like? Is that 6 months out, 12 months out, or?
Basically, it's pretty much close to real time sometime. Okay, it's like obviously when we get into a project with a customer, we need to figure out their volume is going to be in 12 or 18 months from now. So we size our system according to their throughput and volumes in the next 2 years, let's say. And then we size our operation, meaning the number of location, number of robots, number of peak station, and so on, to be able to handle these volumes. And then, like I said, it's super easy for us to scale. I mean, you need to think about our solution more or less like a Lego. It's standardized operation and standardized automation. If you need to plug a new picking station, for instance, it's super easy for us. It's more or less like just an assembly kind of things, and we can do that pretty much over. If I say a weekend, I might be a little bit too optimistic, but it's that kind of time frame. Okay, so maybe take us a week, to do all the installation. And if you need to add robots, once again, it's super simple. If you want to replace one manual picking station by some of the things that you've seen on the video, which is what we call the sky picker, which is the robotic arm that basically do the picking from the totes that we bring from our skypod into the outbound totes for the customer. I mean, it's here again, the fact that the solution is super standard, we can easily replace that, okay? So that's something which is very different from traditional automation, where it's more or less custom made, where we assembly a bunch of standard solution. That's what we do at Exotec. And then when we worked with, especially in the e-commerce space, obviously we are all pretty much driven by the peak seasons like Black Fridays and the Christmas season and so on, where some of our customers, they do like 30% of their business or 40% of their business during those months or couple of months. We work with Monoprix. We work with Cdiscount, first customer ever, Cdiscount. So we are born in this kind of space. Cdiscount being the largest French e-commerce pure player.
Yep.
And I mean, Monoprix, they doubled the fleet of robots during these 2 months, and we rent those robots, obviously. Okay, I mean, there is no point to build a machine for the maximum capacity that you're going to reach within a few weeks or a few maybe months. And then for the rest of the time to use only 60% of its capacity. It doesn't make any sense, okay? I mean, it's so what we do is that we are building, the machine for the regular capacity. And if you need to increase your capacity for a couple of months, then we, give you the additional robots. We rent the additional robots for the period of time. Yeah. I mean, we don't rent picking station. It takes a little bit more time to
of course,
install it. But I mean, at least, we got some super flexibility, some super scalability.
Amazing. And operationally, like how in depth do you go with the tech? Like, are you connecting to their order management systems and warehouse management systems? How much is that impacting? Obviously, is it just data coming across driving all that information, or are you literally in their flow as a business?
I'm pretty familiar with that business. I come from the WMS space, and okay, and yes, obviously we connect to the WMS, and we connect with the standard WMS of the market, the big guys, and we also work with companies where they have custom-made solution. Obviously, we are a tech company. Okay, everybody can see the mechanical component of our solution. To be fair, in our R&D organization, we've got something like 60% of our people are more in the software business than on the mechanical side. Because once again, okay, to be able to optimize a fleet of robots in real time, because that happened all real time, okay? We don't do any kind of, we don't receive like a backlog of orders and then we try to optimize the flow. No. We work based on priority. So if your order comes as a top priority, we will handle it, first thing. It's not like we receive a batch of order, then we optimize, and then the robot goes. No. It's all of that is done real time, and that's obviously one of the big part of the value of the system.
Yeah.
But indeed, I mean it's a big software component, and the integration with WMS is obviously something that we've done for on each and every project that we do. I mean, it's standard kind of technology, state-of-the-art technology, web-based API, those are the kind of things that we use. It's not rocket science, when you come from the software world. I mean, it's something, pretty usual, but it's obviously, a significant component of our implementation.
Sure. And logistics industry at times has been very reluctant to technology. You know, they've been sort of pushed back on that. Are you still seeing resistance to technology? Is it resistance to changing operations or changing a workforce, or is it resistance to the actual technology? Or are people pretty comfortable now that, you know, it's not going to make mistakes and everything's going to, you know, run as smoothly as it should?
Yeah, well, obviously, I mean, resistance to change, I think it happened all the time, okay? I think that each and every business, you know, we're a little bit, some sort of resistance. But I think that what we do at Exotec is we've been able to, embrace some of this new technology and see our customer, how they adopt our technology. I think it's, at the end of the day, you know, it's extremely user-friendly, the type of solution that we deliver. Once again, we also get rid of the activities that are really painful in a warehouse, okay? At the end of the day, you know, working in a warehouse for several miles, carrying, heavy product, I don't think it's, you know, the most valuable activity that we can do or that people can do. So yes, in a certain manner, some challenge in terms of the relationship between robots and people. But at the same time, once again, you know, the big issue that most of our customers are facing is about labor shortages. And I think that I was saying the exact same thing a few minutes ago. But I really believe that, you know, our customer should really dedicate their workforce to the value-added activities in the warehouse, and not to the, you know, labor-intensive, painful activities such as walking for miles, carrying heavy stuff. And I think that most of the time, the value-added services are more towards the packing and the shipping.
Yeah.
For all about customer experience, especially when we talk to e-commerce. Okay. I mean, how do you differentiate yourself from another brand? Obviously, your product and all the customer. I mean, and all the the front end and all those kind of marketing component that you want to build. But obviously, logistic is a crucial differentiator as well when you talk about e-commerce.
Yeah.
Because this is a kind of the final link between your product and your customer. And the packing is super important because that's where you're going to feel about the brand identity. And that's something very difficult to automate. Yes, you can automate part of it, but you cannot automate the brand experience and the value activity that you want to bring, that you want to add into this. So my point is that dedicate your team to those type of activity, and let us do the job that we are probably better, where we go faster with pretty much no error, and we can really add some efficiency as well into that process.
Yeah.
I think it's that's why the adoption to change has been pretty good.
For sure. And I'll ask a tough question because our company got we had a technology business that was acquired by a French business, and I learned very quickly around the labor laws in France and that stuff. How, like, obviously going in there, you're making changes, and obviously it affects people's. In my opinion, it actually enables you to better use people. You can actually put people into your business and put them out there selling and doing stuff. But is that been a factor, obviously, going into operations and completely automating operations? Because I've done it in the past with mailrooms, and at times it was difficult. So I'm just wondering, is that something that you've experienced as you've gone through?
I don't know. I mean, to be honest with you, I don't know. I mean, French company have been successful before, and they will be successful after. So obviously, labor law has been a constraint. But I mean, it's I used to work for an American company, and they were terrified about the labor laws and so on. But at the end of the day, they realized that, hey, you know what? I mean, we can still do good business in France, okay? I mean, I think it's the market is there, and the attractivity of the French market is still there. So at the end of the day, I mean, I don't know if this is a big factor, to be honest with you. I don't think so. I think the driver is probably more into the efficiency, is more into the flexibility, and once again, what can we do if you're a retailer, you don't wake up yourself in the morning to thinking about the labor laws and things like that, I guess. I think that you wake up in the morning thinking about your customer. And, how can I acquire a new customer, and how can I make sure that if they buy from my website, they will buy again. And make sure that this customer experience remains something, state of the art, or at least that differentiate me from the competition. Because the competition has never been as fierce as it is today. Everybody say you're just one click away, okay, to go to Amazon or to go to anybody else.
Yeah.
So I think that's what motivates you, and you find ways to work around it. So I think that our solution is not a way to work around labor laws and things like that. I think we're successful because I think that we add value to the key component of the business of our customer.
Amazing. Yeah, no, excellent answer. So looking at like a global footprint, obviously there's retailers from all over Europe here, several from America that I've seen. You've got operations in America now? Clients
yes, we
in
do.
America?
Yeah. We went kind of international. We got operation in America. So at Exotec, we either work directly, so we integrate our own solution. That's what we do. This is our only way of doing business in France, which is our core market.
Yeah.
Otherwise, we can also work ourselves like we do in America, or with integrators, so partners that sell and implement our solution. So we got offices in Atlanta, in America, where we take care of our American market. We got office in Japan as well, and several in Europe. So that's the kind of mix that we do. So we got operation in the UK, operation in Benelux, Germany, Italy, Spain.
And is there any certain type of retailer that you sort of gravitate towards, or any that you think isn't suitable for your business to work with?
Isn't suitable? I don't think so. I think that we started in the pure player world, e-commerce. And then I think right after that we expanded, pretty rapidly into the grocery business, because it's a fast evolving world. I think that especially in France, and I guess everywhere around the world, they do have some significant challenges. They need to reinvent themselves in terms of obviously the digitalization of their supply chain, and obviously relationship to customer and so on. So we worked with Carrefour, which was one of our big customers up front, and Leclerc and others. So, but otherwise, we work in the fashion business, we work in the spare part business, we work in manufacturing, we work with 3PL. I think that pretty much any business where you have some unit picking, we can have a some sort of pretty good solution.
Definitely, and you touched on those challenges. Like, what's the moment when you're talking to someone when they realise that this automation is the best? Is it a capacity issue? Is it they've just ramped up, taken in investment, and growing their business? What are you seeing as the sort of the sales cycle there?
Well, obviously, it's after a certain level, you need to reach a certain level. I would say in terms of, throughput or capacity, in terms of, growth, and where we can, be meaningful for those customers. Whether there is a lack of space because our solution is, improving obviously the density. We go up to 12 meter high. Okay, compared to shelf speaking, where it's like 2 meter high, where at least max, sorry. Though our robot goes up to 12 meters, so they can go and pick the product at 12 meter high and bring it to the operator. So in terms of inventory densification, it's obviously super important. So if you're in a situation where you don't have enough space, then obviously you can take advantage of the full volume of the warehouse.
Yeah.
Otherwise, it's in terms of throughput and capacity and the number of orders that you need to prepare, per day, per hours, and so on, where we can probably multiply it by 4, 5, 6.
That's
or maybe some 10. What a manual operation can do.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, that's a huge difference, and obviously, the efficiency of that is, goes without saying. So, looking at obviously anything now, when we talk about logistics and e-commerce, we have to talk about sustainability. Obviously, that's a key component for a lot of people. I'm sure when they're looking at efficiency of the picking, packing, reducing, not having petrol or fuel. LPG powered lifters in the operations, all of these are positives for sustainability, yeah?
of course. And we work with customers who are more and more sensible to this type of topics. Having a green supply chain, it's no longer just like something that you use as a marketing tool. I think that companies are becoming more and more engaged into that type of evolution. We work with Monoprix, for instance. Okay, Monoprix is one of the big retailer in France, and they build a fully green warehouse, which is totally autonomous in terms of energy, and they selected us into that operation. And one of the it was not the, I would say, the main reason, but at least we were contributing to this sustainability. I think that our solution is only using electricity, so only power, no obviously gas. Like I said, within our Skypod rack and so on, there is absolutely zero electrification, no power, no nothing. So the only component that use energy basically, or it's the robots.
Yep.
And we measured a little bit, and compared to traditional automation such as shuttles and things like that, we think like we use like 5 or 6 times less energy than a traditional automation system.
Yeah.
And it's because the robots go and charge what they need. When they go down from the shelves, they charge as well. So we try to find clever ways to make sure that we are not overusing some energy. So at the end of the day, I think that we have a proper a pretty sustainable type of solution as well.
Yeah, for sure. And just from the people in attendance, has anyone got robot automation in their facilities at the moment? No? So all interesting.
That's good. That's good news.
So the line will start at the end over here. So since I was on stage 9 months ago with one of your founders, Rémy, and we were talking about the business, and he was talking about the growth plans and what was going. Since then, the business has taken on quite a large investment, pretty much straight after that. Substantial investment, actually. I was very impressed when I saw it. So what's that sort of mean? Obviously, it's a vote of confidence from some very large investors, and coming from the VC market, I understand the nature of that. So the expectations there is growth, no doubt. Is it global growth, or is it about sort of building out the technology to do even more cool things?
Yeah, no, definitely. I think that we were pretty proud to see a company like Goldman Sachs, backing up, Exotec. And it's obviously, when you look at the automation market globally, if you think about Europe, Germany and the British market and the Benelux are pretty, substantial. So those are the place where we want to grow outside of France. Okay, by nature, Exotec is an international company, and I think that only after a few years, close to 50% of our revenue, or more than 50% of our revenue, is coming from international.
Yep.
Like we said, we grew in the US. So the idea of this, fundraising was to enable us, or to support the growth and the international growth of the company. We are already a profitable company, by the way. Okay, yeah. It's not like we are getting that money to fund some of our debts or anything like that. We are already a profitable company, and the two things that we really want to push is international growth and innovation. The Skypod system, we don't see that as a static kind of thing. Okay, we keep on evolving, we keep on innovating, and funding the R&D and bringing additional component to a robotic warehouse is what we are doing every day. So those are the two main things that we are doing with this kind of money.
Excellent, excellent. And just finally, just looking at the obviously the future and what it looks for the industry on the whole from logistics. Where do you see you guys playing in that? Do you see anything changing that's going to work in your favour? And sort of where do you think that the people in attendance should be thinking about where you fit in the future?
I think that once again, and what we are experiencing right now, I don't want to be pessimistic, okay, obviously, but I mean the volatility of the world in which we are all living, it's becoming more and more challenging. And I think that for an e-commerce, player, for any retailer, building the forecast and something like that is a headache, obviously. So I think that we are extremely well positioned because of this, performant, flexible, scalable solution. And I think that that's what we want to keep on pushing. We want to keep on, bringing standard solution to make it either evolving, either, scalable. And I really believe that's, the future of the industry.
Excellent, excellent. Thank you. I'll throw it out to the audience if there's any questions or statements or anything. No, we covered all of it.
One question,
Yes.
two questions.
Yeah. Just there.
Okay.
You might want to grab you.
Oh, sorry. Yeah.
I'm not hearing myself.
It's a flick it on.
It's okay.
Can you?
I can hear it.
Might be mine.
Can you hear it?
Yeah, we
Okay.
can.
Okay,
There we go.
okay. Now I'm listening. You said that a person can rent more robots to add to its operation on a temporary basis.
Indeed, yeah.
How long does that take to set up? I mean, if you have 100 robots and you add 40 more for, let's say, a period of 2 months, do you have to reprogram the system, and how long does that take?
So we don't have to reprogram the system at all. Okay. I mean, it's really something that our customers are experiencing. It's basically that we ask a little bit in advance our customer to figure out how many robots they're going to use more, to try to make sure that we don't have any supply chain issue, basically.
Ironic.
But the idea is that when we give you a robot on site, so when we ship it to you, you unpack it. Once again, I mean it's real. You as soon as a robot connects to the Wi-Fi, it's there. Okay, so it's a matter of a few seconds, minutes, for the robots to be operational. So and then our solution detect the number of robots that they have to manage, and they will optimize the new fleet of robots or the 40 additional robots, and they will be part of the systems and all of that real time. That's the way it works. Yeah. Sorry.
I don't know, I missed the first part with the video. Probably you have answered, but you can ask. How you do the replan of the empty bins? Is it doing the same?
Okay, so for the replenishment of the empty bins, you can use the same station at the picking station, okay, which is one way of doing it. So because the picking station, you have several modes. You can use it as the regular mode, which is picking. You can use it for replenishment. You can use it for cycle counting as well, okay, for instance. But more and more what we got is like we do, I'll, if you come to our booth, I'll show you what we call the bin interface. So it's more like a conveyor getting into the systems, okay? So where you have, like a replenishment station where you can do all the decanting from the product into the bins, and then the bin on the conveyor goes into the systems, and the robot pick it from there and will put it away into the SkyPod. That's one way of doing it. It's good to know as well that we can also manage cartons on trays, not only bins, okay? In certain businesses, like we work with Decathlon, for instance, okay? And they got, very standardized carton, and basically when we receive and their carton, put it on a tray. We do the automatic assembly between a tray and a carton, and there it goes into the systems. And the robot picked up the trays with the carton on top, and will put it away into our SkyPod system. So, and this is obviously much more efficient going this way than if we do the traditional replenishment, or the replenishment through the picking station. Now, if you got a peak period as well, where you can use our picking station and turn it into a replenishment mode, so that you can add some extra capacity as well.
Is the bins in the same dimensions, or you
Say it again, sorry, I missed
are
the...
the bins the same dimension? Is standard dimension?
Yes, indeed, we use 600 by 400, at least, for the bottom.
Thank you.
Excellent. Was there any more questions? No? Excellent. Well, I want to thank everyone for attending today, and thank you very much for your time and your insight. Absolutely love. This is the second conference in a row for Exotec with me on stage. I'm absolutely enthralled by the robotics, so I've got to get over to see one of these in operation at some point.
Anytime.
Amazing. So, yeah, really appreciate it. Thank you, and thanks for Exotec for attending the conference and spending time with us.
Thank you. Pleasure. Thanks to everybody.
Thank you.